This past week, we got the confirmation for a Red Sonja film that I had no idea that was being actually developed for. And the first casting choice was made to play Red Sonja, and that was Hannah John Kamen. And she's an actress most popularly known as Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp. She played the villain. She's biracial. She's light-skinned woman, and I wouldn't say she's a veteran, but she's not exactly new either. Kind of in the middle
Mm-hmm.
of the road as an actress.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
she's playing Red Sonja, who has been historically been a Caucasian, red-haired, blue-eyed, big titty, big ass, bikini-clad warrior with a big sword. I'm not gonna completely shit on the character of Red Sonja. I'm not gonna do that. Why? Because the character has been made since like the 1970s. It's 2021 right now.
Yep.
This character has survived for 30, 40, 50 plus, years. So you got to give credit where credit is due. You just can't create something and it lasts 50 years. It's definitely something with the appeal of the character, right? So I give credit to Red Sonja as being a character that's viable enough to stay in comic books for 50 years. Even now as we speak, they're making new comic books of Red Sonja. So I put Red Sonja in a special category of comic book characters in a genre called cheesecake.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
Cheesecake. You know what I'm
Continue.
saying?
Yeah, I like it.
Patty cake bakers, man. Like cheesecake. We know why it's cheesecake because you have
Hashtag cheesecake.
you have your lady deaths in this genre. You have your vampirellas in this genre. You
Mm-hmm.
have your She-Ra's Queen of the Jungle. And hell, at one point, you had She-Hulk in this genre as well.
When she was breaking the fourth wall and all of that.
Breaking the fourth wall, pretty much covering herself with just her hands in a towel. Like,
Let's put let's put Howard the Duck in this genre as well while we're
yeah,
at it.
yeah, Howard the Duck in this genre. The cheesecake genre. Red Sonja is a cheesecake character.
Heavy Metal 2000.
Heavy metal 2000. I mean, the bikini armor that everyone makes fun of in video games of having armored superheroines or armored female characters that have bikini armor and the stats are super high, and then they put on
Mm-hmm.
fully armored armor and the stats get lowered. You know what I'm saying? Look,
Mm-hmm.
we get the appeal of Red Sonja. She's a busty character, whooping ass, taking names, drawn in particular style of panels. I know she's probably got some great writers on the character to make some decent storylines, but let's be real, that's not the main draw of a Red Sonja.
Nope,
She
not at
doesn't
all.
survive for 50 years if you change her. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why she's still having new comics. So, when you cast Hannah John Kamen as Red Sonja, a biracial woman who looks like a light skinned, attractive woman in the role of Red Sonja, you know there's two audiences that you know are going to be directly affected by this casting. And the two are your mainstream regular person, right? Or let's just face it, a black person, person of color, who's never paid attention to Red Sonja, or hell, even a female audience who's never paid attention to Red Sonja, seeing this casting decision, saying we might get our own little Conan the Barbarian type. The other audience is your traditional male comic book reader who's read Red Sonja, who enjoys Red Sonja, and likes Red Sonja the way she is and doesn't want her to change because it's pure escapism for them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have two audiences with this Red Sonja character with this casting. I know why they did this casting, but I kind of want to know. I kind of want to see if you know why they did this kind of casting for this character.
Well, this is my opinion on this, man. Like, what? See, this is a very, very slippery slope here. Um,
It is. Yep.
in my opinion, bro. I could appreciate that the comic book genre, the superhero genre, all of that. I could appreciate that now this is the most popular kind of money draw for all of entertainment. I really can appreciate that, having grown up as a Sunday morning or Saturday morning cartoon kid, as a comic book fan, as an adult now that's still interested in this and still spends money to read comic books. You know what I'm saying? I can appreciate this. I could appreciate that now, us as conscious men can recognize when bullshit is bullshit, but also acknowledge cheesecake, right? That
Right.
there has to be a separation between even within comic books as to what entertainment can really transcend and be meaningful and make you think, be entertaining, and then your cheesecake kind of shit that you read it but don't want anybody to know that you actually read it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In a
Hmm.
lot of ways, this is in a lot of ways, this is making the separation between, National Wrestling Alliance in the 1980s and World Wrestling Federation Wrestling in the 1980s.
Ooh.
This is this is making your separation between your New Japan Pro Wrestling and your Shikara bullshit entertainment wrestling. It's still,
Damn.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's still a part of the genre, but you have to view it under a different lens and understand what reason it's there for. With the actress that's been casted in this part, she was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I also remember seeing her in an episode of Black Mirror and everything like that. Anytime somebody gets casted to portray a lead based on a relatively popular property, I'm all for it. I'm excited to see it. Without kind of getting too far off track, and I'm not trying to dodge your question, my brother, but
You good,
what I'm
man.
going to say is that sometimes we don't need everything unless I mean, sometimes sometimes there are certain things that are just better left on page. And unless and I just kind of read up on this as well while you were kind of talking and conversation we had throughout the week. They had
Hmm.
Bryan Singer attached as a director to this movie initially, and it took some controversy against his name for him to be removed from it.
Oh.
You know, they reinstalled another director into it that might have a better vision to kind of clean up the image of the character. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
knock any of that. I'm not here to knock any of that because this is inside baseball and things that are above my head. If you remove Bryan Singer, who has a bad reputation and might not be the right guy to handle this property, and install a director who is a little bit more in tune with where the studio wants to go with this property, I'm all for that. I don't have an issue with a member of the LGBTQ community directing adaptation for a Red Sonja movie. I don't have any issue with that. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's the perspective that needs to be given for this type of material, I don't have an issue with that. I wasn't the demographic for this kind of cheesecake entertainment to begin with. You know what I'm saying? I was never I was never the demographic for this. You know, all I need to know is that Red Sonja in the 1980s was portrayed by Bridget Nielsen. That's all I need to know right there, dog. If I
Yep.
type in Red Sonja on a Google search, the image that pops up is not one that I would want to pop up if I'm on a bus or somebody is standing over my shoulder. I don't want, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
with this type of cheesecake entertainment that we're speaking on here, I'm not affected by it either way. The only thing that I will say in relation to what was brought up here and why this is kind of being presented the way it's being presented. To answer your question, bro, and I might catch some heat for this, but maybe it's necessary. Maybe it is
Mm.
necessary. Maybe, and I'm only saying maybe it's necessary for this drastic of a turn to be taken in live action for this type of character to be taken seriously. If that's the right thing to do, I don't know. I don't know that a character such as a Red Sonja even needs to be presented as the character that needs to be taken seriously. I don't know that. I could be wrong, but sometimes cheesecake needs to be sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. I feel you. That's a good hot take. That's a good hot take. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know they have the Brian Singer situation with the director.
And yeah, and that just goes even further to make you wonder like what the fuck are these studios have in mind in terms of what they think is the right thing to do and all of that. So, my last thing I want to say, and not to interrupt you or none of that, bro. The
You good,
only
man?
thing I'm gonna say is that whether this movie is a success as far as critically or at the box office, or if it fails and people hate it, I just don't like that it kind of feels like people are being put in this situation to not succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's what I don't like. I don't like that part of it there, bro.
Yeah, dude. It feels like this actress, she's being set up for sabotage, for failure, because you have a property whose entire fan base likes it a certain way. And
Mm-hmm.
on the other hand, you're trying to have her change that and attain a fan base that doesn't even acknowledge the character or know the character even exists.
Mm-hmm.
So you have essentially, you can be denied by, you can make nobody happy in this situation. The mainstream, the casual moviegoer may not accept, will reject you, and then the fan base, who should be an automatic buy, whatever the case, whatever the fan base is, they're not gonna accept your vision of it either. So it's a sticky it's basically they're making it a sticky situation, because if you went with it for a traditional style and a traditional role, you know exactly what's up with the character, you know exactly who this is for, and you know exactly who's gonna pay for it and gonna want to see it. You can make it a
Mm-hmm.
nice cheesy action movie, kind of retro, made with some heart and some cool action sequences. Sure, you know what I'm saying? And whoever is gonna, the Sonya fans gonna see it, will see it. Maybe some people who like to see like Sharknado or whatever, will see, can look past the sexualization of the character and be like, well, this looks like a good fun time. I'll check it
Mm-hmm.
out. Sure, you know what I'm saying? I think there's always this weird distinction of American and boobs and ass and shit. Meanwhile, these in Japan, they got boobs and ass in every one of their freaking animes, and women and girls love it, from
Right.
teenagers to 40-plus-year-olds. But an American version of that, it's looked down upon like, oh, disgusting or rejected. So I don't get
Mm-hmm.
that. That's weird for me.
What
But
and you know what? I'm not in disagreement with you on that. I just think that in the West, okay, I think, see, and I wish we had Orion to kind of break this down because you
mm,
actually have brought up a good point. I just think that in in Japanese culture, in Japanese culture, I feel like, and I could be wrong on this, and I hope to be educated on this later on. But in
mm-hmm,
my opinion, I just think that a lot of the issues that are faced in terms of how entertainment is presented to us here, maybe they've already dealt with that at a different point in time over there.
true,
Maybe
true.
they've gotten to a point where people maybe they've gotten to a point where certain entertainment and certain things, like you said, can be looked at as cheesecake and not necessarily viewed as degrading or anything like that because they've already gotten past that point and they know when they look at something exactly what it is that they're looking at. But then again, there are more people who speak our language than I think speak other languages. So when that piece of the pie is divided in so many different layers and so many
Mm-hmm.
different people need to be represented in a way to where they feel as though things are on an even playing field, certain pieces of entertainment can't be put in that cheesecake genre. You know, a
Mm.
character like, and I mean, look, whether that's good or bad, I don't know if I'm the proper authority to speak on that. But if I'm being all the way honest with you, my guy, like, nah, man, we
We don't
like,
need this.
no, we don't. Nah, like,
We're good.
word. Like word, and that's just keeping it all the way 1,000, my boy. Like we
Yeah.
can't, we don't need this, man. Like we don't need a Red Sonja movie with any actress wearing the chainmail bikini armor for the sake of fan service in 2021. We don't need that, bro. We don't need that. Like that's not that's not the recipe for a good reflection on a movie studio, a director, an actor. I don't think at this point in time it would just seem very awkward to ask any professional actress to be willing to do that just so that the small demographic of people who still buy Red Sonja comic books can say, "Hey, I understand that reference."
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean,
And
yeah. Go ahead, man.
yeah, no. And then I was just gonna say on the flip side to that, on the flip side to that, if we're gonna make Red Sonja a we're gonna make Red Sonja a lower budgeted version of Wonder Woman or a Captain Marvel or any type of movie where we've already or an Alita Battle Angel, any other type of movie where we've already seen,
Mm-hmm.
solid, strong female superheroes. If we've already gotten a better version of that, my only argument is why do we need this version of it? What makes this different and or better?
Damn, dude. Yeah. I was just about to say that too, man. You
My
you
bad,
good,
brother.
man.
My bad, dog.
You're good, man. Because this is a slick move. I feel like they're trying to do a light skin slash black woman rendition of Wonder Woman. I feel like this is like a chance to kind of grab a little piece of that pie and adapting Red Sonja, a comic book character adaptation, and transforming her into almost like a Wonder Woman light. And I hope it's not like that. I hope it stands on its own and it makes itself unique. But this seems like almost like a cash grab on the superhero genre, using a superhero that's a super heroine that's not as known, and hoping that because it's based on a comic book character and you transform her into more of a Wonder Woman type character, that you grab some big bucks in the box office or at least streaming. So I understand that appeal to try to transform Red Sonja into that. The problem is it's Red Sonja. The problem is you're adapting the wrong thing. If anything, the smarter thing to do would be not adapt Red Sonja and adapt Xena, the warrior princess. If that's the case, if you want to go with that kind of route, adapt Xena or just create
Yep.
something brand new from scratch.
That makes too much sense.
Like come on now, like Xena she was a warrior badass before. Well, Wonder Woman had the thing in the '70s with Linda Carter, but Xena she was shutting shit down in the '90s, man.
Yep.
I think she had a little bit of the LGBTQ aspect with Gabriella, maybe a little bit with that, but it's like she represented a little bit of everything, and everyone watched, men, women, children. It was universally well praised for being this kind of like this '90s cheesy action fantasy adventure series. And I think if you were to adapt it and modernize it, that would have been the property to update rather than pick up Red Sonja uh,
And try to
and try
revive it. Yep.
like man, you're trying to ice skate uphill with this shit. It's not gonna. It could end up pretty ugly. So, and I feel you for the Red Sonja fans out there who are not gonna want to watch it. I can't even fault them for this because this is pretty clear cut and dry of what the appeal of the character. And again, I've never read Red Sonja in my life. I showed you that artwork that I was reading from a Dynamite book of
Oh
Red
my
Sonja
goodness,
and the Mars aliens crossover. Her
man.
being topless and a thong with a sword facing
Come
like
on, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, word. Where's Doc Samson at, bro?
uh, like seriously. I can't see us meaning like I can't see a black demographic reaching out and supporting this film. And I can't. It could, but I just can't see you grabbing those dollars easy. None of us
Nope.
has read a Red Sonja book. Majority of us, majority of us don't even know Red Sonja. Like, there's probably a few, but come on, man, that's just the wrong property. Just don't do it at all. Make it animated, and if you're gonna do live action, you might as well just, you know, get a straight to streaming kind of thing and call it a day.
Yeah,
This one's too easy.
I will be. This doesn't stand a chance, bro. And it is what it is, man. Hashtag cheesecake.